Despite protests all over the world, Gaddafi has only responded with more attacks on civilians, and Libyans are calling for Obama's help. Boston aside, completing the top 6 are Los Angeles, New York, Miami, Washington, D.C., and Philadelphia. Reporting from Boston, I'm Lin Ying for WEBN.
No justice, no peace.
Unjustified, unnecessary, and problematic. These are some words used to describe the United States intervention in Libya. Over 50 people rallied at Park Street. They were calling for President Obama to spend the money on Americans instead.
The American people want our political leaders to focus on America and start putting the American people back to work, start spending our money here in America.
Where we're spending, millions and billions of dollars on war and bombs and killing other people, killing civilians, and we want that money to be towards us.
Despite President Obama's said intentions in Libya, many people are doubting his true motivations.
Keep control over the Middle East, bases, oil. I think that's it. I think humanitarian reasons are just kind of a excuse, really.
It has never been because they put first the interests of, the betterment of the peoples of those countries. It's been because they wanted to divide up access to the resources of those countries.
They are going to kill Gaddafi, and then a new puppet regime like what happened in Afghanistan and what happened in Iraq will be put in place with tremendous influence by the United States.
President Obama has defended his decision. He says Gaddafi's continued attacks against his own people left the United States with no other choice. This is Ying Lin for WEBN. Lights, camera, and take two. The stage is set in New York for the second round of presidential debates. The stakes are high for President Obama, whose lackluster performance in the first debate saw him lose ground to his Republican challenger Mitt Romney. This second debate will take on an entirely different format, requiring the candidates to connect with undecided voters themselves.
The Hofstra debate is town meeting, which means that the set and the format focused on the 80 people that will be here asking questions of the candidates. They've been chosen as uncommitted voters from Nassau County by the Gallup organization.
Each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer the question and another 2 minutes to further elaborate.
The town hall format is very wide open. You could get anything from the jobs and the economy to more particular issues that may be off the public's radar.
Despite Mr. Romney's strong performance in the first debate, some voters were left wondering about the details of his policies.
Voters still have some doubts about Romney's specifics, and so I think Obama will draw this issue out. And I think Romney will be under some pressure to define a little better how he would pay for his 20% across-the-board tax cut.
Mr. Obama has admitted he had a bad night in Denver. His team has promised a more energetic performance in round 2.
These days, Mitt Romney is for whatever you're for. Suddenly he loves the middle class. Can't stop talking enough about him. He loves Medicare. Loves teachers. He even loves the most important parts of Obamacare. What happened?
A weekend Reuters poll showed Mr. Obama with a 1% lead in what promises to be one of the closest presidential contests in U.S. history. It's anyone's guess as to whom these fireworks will be sparkling for come Election Day. Cakes, tarts, and macaroons. You're looking at a French pastry shop, not in Paris, but in New Delhi. These signature French pastries have seen a surge in demand in India in recent years. Over the past 18 months, the capital has seen at least 10 new French outlets.
There are more and more Indians who have had experiences abroad, and this is clearly a trend that we have seen in the last years, and we see that most of the consumers in our shops are actually Indians. These are not foreigners. 80% of them are Indians who are delighted by the product.
Despite the demand, challenges remain. A US $1.50 croissant is considered pricey to most locals. To keep prices low, some restaurants use local produce and only import the essential ingredients. The restaurants also have to keep in mind the religious practices of local Hindus and Muslims. But in some French restaurants, meat dishes seem to be the favorite.
Most popular dish here is a beef. Beef in different way. Cook or not cook also. We sell also raw beef, like steak tartare, like carpaccio, and we serve also like tenderloin and beef fondue also. So yeah, very nice response with beef.
Food critics have expressed surprise at the popularity of French cuisine in India, where the traditional food is often spicy.
What stays you hooked onto this place is the quality of stuff that is served here. So it's primarily the quality that keeps you coming back.
Prices for the European cuisine were once considered to be far too expensive. But with the growing middle class that's prepared to pay, it seems the cuisine is there to stay. With luxury retail sales sliding in Eurozone countries, there's one thing to cheer about for the fashion industry. China's fashion market is set to triple in the next decade, according to a report by the Boston Consulting Group. And that's thanks to the emergence of middle and affluent class consumers in China. Over the past week, Chinese buyers have been flocking to the Paris Fashion Week. But they weren't only looking for the big brands and flashy logos. More and more, the interest seems to be turning to niche designers and boutique brands.
Before that, they like Louis Vuitton, the big brand, but now they like something personality, the same simple style, but with the accessory or details, very special.
With changing tastes, a brand that's simply made in France has lost much of the appeal it previously held.
我觉得可能最初市场的那个需求是可能要让人知道哦，我是穿的迪奥，我是穿的什么什么。但是现在其实已经分得挺细的了，然后中国女性的口味也在就越来越细分。
According to tax-free shopping firm Global Blue, Chinese travelers formed the biggest spenders in duty-free shops in 2011, racking up sales of $2.7 billion. That's an almost 70% jump from the previous year. As of August this year, there are more than 1 million millionaires in China, and they are not afraid to spend. And that's reason enough for the big names to try and continue staking their claims in China. It was trophies galore for Rory McIlroy. The Northern Irish lad dominated the greens with 4 wins on the PGA Tour, which included his second major. The 23-year-old clinched the money list double after topping both the European and PGA Tour.
You know, it's an incredible feeling just to sit up here, see this trophy, and be able to call myself a multiple major champion.
In the NBA, the king finally gets his crown. LeBron James clinched his first NBA title in his 3rd attempt. The Miami Heat beat Oklahoma City Thunders in 5 games.
Hey man, I'm an NBA champion, and it don't matter. Love you guys.
And not forgetting the epic final at the Australian Open between Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal that lasted over 5.5 hours. Djoko won the first Grand Slam title of the year and would wrap up the season as world number 1.
It's going to be very difficult to repeat what I have done, and but look, I've done it once, why not twice?
Clay specialist Nadal also carved a career milestone when he went on to win the French Open for the record 7th time. The Spaniard passed Bjorn Borg's record of 6 titles to stand alone as the greatest ever male player in the history of the Roland Garros tournament. Yet the drama was overshadowed by the biggest doping scandal of the century. The sport of cycling took a hit when 7-time Tour de France winner Lance Armstrong was banned for life and stripped of his title since August 1998 after the United States Anti-Doping Agency released a massive report detailing allegations of widespread doping by Armstrong and his teams.